Hello folks, good morning. Today we'll understand about map and filter, and this is gonna be a great video. You'll understand map and filter once and for all. Initially I thought to include reduce also, but I thought it will make video longer, so yeah, I got rid of that thought and concentrated only on map and filter. Okay, so here I open this code sandbox, and let me tell you. First we'll understand map. Okay, then I'll show you some examples of map, then we'll move on to filter, and in order to understand better I'll show you some example of filter. Okay, so this is the simple flow that our video will follow. Now let's get started. One more thing before getting started is I'm gonna teach you. Actually I already wrote blog on map, filter and reduce, so, and it is an awesome blog, so do check out, and I'm gonna teach you from that blog only, because there I have included examples also, so it will be much more convenient, so that I do not skip over anything, no. So yeah, these are the map, filter and reduce. And if you don't want to watch this video, no, just go through blog and you'll understand. But now, without wasting any further time, let's get started. Okay, so what is map? I'll tell you what is map. Map is an inbuilt JavaScript method, and how it works is, let's say we have an array. Yes, I'm diving right into an example because this is the much more efficient way to understand rather than giving the blind definition itself. Let's say we have an array, say 2 5 8 3 5 6. Okay, this is the array we have. Okay, now let's see, we have one more array. Let's call this new array. No, let's only have one array. Now what happens is, if I run the map method over this array, what will happen is, the method will return a new array with each element of this array being modified. What do I mean when I say that each element of the original array is modified in the new array? By that I mean is, this 2, this first element 2 might become 4, this 5 might become 7, this 8 might become 9, this 3 might become 5, this 5 might become 7, and this 6 might become 8. Okay, so one thing to note is, we are getting the same number of elements that were in the original array. Again, let me reiterate, we are getting the same number of elements that were in the original array, 1. And second thing is, each element is being passed through the same function. Okay, so 2 is being added to each of the elements. Okay, so what map does is, map basically returns us a new array having the same number of elements as the original array, and each element of the original array is being passed through a function. Okay, so let us go through some examples so you guys will understand better. See, the map method creates a new array populated with the results of calling a provided function on every element in the calling array. So every element changes to a new element in the new array. Okay, and remember two things. One, it does not modify the original array. Neither map does nor filter does. Okay, they do not modify the original array. And second thing is, map does not work on string. For it to work on a string, you have to split the string and provide it with an array. Okay, so yeah, let's get an example. Double the value of each element in an array and return a new array of modified elements. Okay, so this is our array and our question says double the value of each element in this array and return a new array. No problem, we can do it because we know how map works. So we are gonna apply a map over numbers array dot map. Let's call, we'll get, it is like for loop, no, where iteration happens and in each iteration we'll get a single element of the array. In first iteration we'll get 5, in first iteration we'll get 1, in second iteration we'll get 5, in third we'll get 22 and so on. Okay, so let's call each element an item. Okay, these are the items of an array, and item is singular, items is plural, items is this whole these 5 items, and item is a single item, that is 1. In first iteration we'll get 1, in second 5. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to return an array which doubles the value of the elements in this array. Okay, so we'll return item into 2. That's it. Let's console log this. Let me store it somewhere. So we could console log, this is new array, although I could console log here itself, but I thought that might be a little confusing, so that is why. See, new array. Let me refresh this and see here, each element is being doubled. Here I use the arrow function. Okay, if you are not familiar with arrow function, first of all I will suggest you, this is the way that people use it, and this is like more convenient, much more convenient than the regular function. But if you are a little bit confused, let me also show you how to do this with the regular function. Okay, let's first make a function double, normal function, not an arrow function, function double. What it does is it returns nothing but it takes a parameter n and returns n multiplied by 2. You understand this now? I hope you do. And what we can do here is we can just call double here and see, we got the same result. Let me refresh it so that you guys could see clearly. Okay, yes, see, we got the same result here. Okay, so we could have done like this also, where we have a function defined here and just calling this function here, but this is not very good way to use map, so use arrow function instead. Okay, let's move on to the next example and you'll understand. Okay, so the next example is, okay, triple the value of each element in array and return a new array. No problem, this is, we can do it here also, but I'll use arrow function so that you guys will be used to a good practice. Now I can call anything, no? Previously what I did is I called each of these element an item. Now this time let me call each of these element x. I could call them anything and return x into 3. That's all I want. See what I got here, 3, 15, 16, 120, 57, that is each of these element is being tripled and a new array has been returned. Okay, so yes, let's move on to the next example. Okay, given an array of strings, return a new array with the first element of each string. Okay, we have been provided with this array. We have been provided with this array, and what we want is, we want a new array which contains a, first element A, second B, third M, that is the first letter of each string. Okay, first string is apple, its first letter is A, second string is banana, its first letter is B, and so on. So let's do it. Instead of numbers array doesn't exist, we have string array. So as you guys know, we could call anything. Let's call it fruit, each element fruit. You understood, no? In first iteration we'll get apple, then banana, then mango, and we'll return fruit and 0. Why 0? Because we need only this first character out of each word. And see, here we got the result, A, B, M, G, B. Okay, now let me show you one more thing. You guys remember that I told you that if you guys remember, I told you that array, this map does not work on string. But if we want this to work on string, how we do it? Let me show you a very simple way to do it. Let's say we have a string const str equals to subscribe to this channel. Okay, and we want first letter of each word again, like S, T, and again T and C in an array. So how to do it? Since we cannot do here like this. Why? See, str.map is not a function. We got this error because map does not work on a string. So what we can do is we can first split this string using the built-in method split. So we split it wherever there are these spaces. So let me just refresh it once. Yeah, you guys can see we got subscribe to this and channel. So we got an array using this split, which is in built-in method. Now we could use map here. Now let's call each of these a word. This is a word, this is a word, this is a word. Okay, so word will be the input, and what will be the output? We wanted this word and 0. This is what we wanted, and see, we got it, STTC. So yeah, it's that simple. Let's move on to the next example. Given an array of numbers, return a new array in which an even number is decremented by 1 and an odd number is incremented by 1. Okay, so this is what we want. This is the question, and this is the array. Okay, so what it says is we have to return an array in which even number is decremented by 1 and odd number is incremented by 1. So this is even. So here instead of 1 we want 0, instead of 5 which is odd we want 6, instead of 22 we want 21. So yeah, you get the gist of it. We want even number to be decremented by 1 and odd number to be incremented by 1. So we'll achieve this again using map, and we'll again use the same arrow functions because they are much more convenient to use. So let's get into it. Numbers array dot map, and let's call each of these numbers num. This time I'm using different names here so that you guys know that yes, we could use any name we want, but just use a relevant name. Like, no, it's a number, so use num, don't use x or y or word, or understood? No. So yeah, try to use a relevant name, or if you don't know what to use item itself. Like, it's up to you, it's not a big deal. So what we wanted here, okay, we wanted the even to be decremented by 1 and odd to be incremented by 1. So I'll use conditional operator here. So I'll say if num modulus 2 is equals to 0, that is when I divide num by 2, if I got 0 as remainder, then do what? Then that means the number is even. So return this, return num minus 1. If this is not the case, return num plus 1. Because obviously, no, if this is not the case, the number is obviously an odd number if you are not getting 0 as reminder. So in that case, do num plus 1. So here we got our answer. See, but yes, we got our answer. Okay, this one should be incremented by 1, no? So yes, we got our answer here, 2, 6, 21, 39 and 20. Okay, so yeah, it's done. Let's move on to the next example. I hope you understand this, no? We are just using conditional operator, and yeah, not much. If you know conditional operator, you have understood it like this. So here I also told you how to do it using regular function, using normal function. So yeah, again I am telling you, do read this blog, this is awesome. Okay, this is the fifth and final example. So yeah, let's see. Here, given an array of string, return an array of objects with key as item and value as number of characters in this string. Okay, no problem, we can do it. So this is the array that we are provided with. This is the question that we are provided with. Now what it says is, it says given an array of string, this is an array of string, what we have to do is we have to return something like this, Let me copy the results so you guys could see what we want to return. We want to return something like this. Okay, because apple has 5, why item is came here? No, I have to do edit in this blog. Okay, but let me tell you first what is happening. What we want here is, since apple has 5 letters in here, we want this output. We want apple 5. Now banana has 6 letters, banana 6, mango 5, and so on. Okay, so we want this array of objects, this array of objects, and each object contains only one key and one corresponding value. And you know what is the key and what is the value. The key is this fruit itself, and the value is the length of the word. Okay, so I hope you guys understood. So let us do it. I will say now how to do it. Yes, since we are learning map, we'll do it using map only, and this is also good practice. No, it's not like we have to use map, but it's a good Good thing if you do this in interviews also, instead of using some other loop and all, no. So yeah, my laptop is heating a lot lately, I don't know why. So yes, let's call each of these elements of the array fruit, and what we want is, we want an array to be returned, we want this to be returned, we want, let me remove this, we want fruit as key, and what we want as value, we want fruit dot length as value. So you guys might think that it will work, but it won't work. Why? Let me tell you why. This is an arrow function, no. So in arrow function, if you want to return an object, you have to use return, you have to use return statement, or let's see if this works. Nope, you have to use this return keyword. So yes, now you can see we got our object, but I think it is still lacking in some aspect. Let's see. This the array we got, but see, we got fruit everywhere, like fruit 5. This, instead of apple we got fruit, instead of banana we got the name fruit, although the length is right, but we didn't get the name here. So what we do here is, if we want this object, like this is not related to map, but in general I am telling you, if I want this object to have this dynamic value, dynamic value of fruit, what we are gonna do is, we are gonna have to wrap it inside this square braces, and see this time what we get, what we got in console. See, we got apple 5, banana 6, mango 5. So yeah, we got what we wanted. So map is done. No, yes, map is done. Now let's move on to filter. This is the filter. Okay, so the name filter is exactly what it should be, no, exactly right. Filter, what filter does, it filters. Yes, this is the only truth. Filter filters. Let's see what's the definition. The filter method creates a new array. Again, it returns a new array and does not modify the original array. Yes, similar to map. The filter method creates a new array with all elements that pass the test implemented by the provided function. Okay, so what do we mean by this? Let me use an example so you will understand better. And again, I will be using arrow function here. Say this is an array and this is an array. So yeah, now we are using filter here. So what we'll do is, I want you guys to filter out only even numbers. So what do I mean? I want result to be to what? To 22, 40 and 6. I want this result. I want the even numbers to be filtered out. So let's achieve this using filter. Okay, how can we do it? We can do it like this. We can say numbers array. Again, similar to map, we have to provide a function. It may be a arrow function or a regular function, and each of the element passes through that function that we provide. Okay, in first iteration 1 will be passed through that function, in second iteration 5 will be passed through that function, in third 22 will be passed through that function, and so on. And when we get new array, in that new array only those elements will be returned, uh, which results in true while passing through the function, which returns true while passing through the function. So what, like, let me reiterate again. What I am saying is, what happens now in case of map, we get the, like, there are how many elements here? 4 5 6 7 elements are here. In case of map, we'll get 7 elements only. Okay, and each of these elements might be modified. Okay, but in case of filter, we may get 1 element, 2 element, 3 element, or 5 element. We don't know how many elements we are gonna get, and each of these elements won't be modified. Like, none of them will be modified. We'll get the same, like, similar element, the same element, they won't be modified, but only those elements which pass a certain test, or we can say which pass a certain function and returns true. We'll get only those elements which pass the function we provide and returns true. Okay, we get only those elements which pass the test and returns true, or which pass the function and returns true. So let me show you how to do it. Const new array is equals to numbers array dot filter. I want only even numbers, so what I'll do is, again I'll say num is again each number, first 1, then 5, then 22, and so on. And what we want is, if num modulus 2 is equals to 0, yeah, like this is through which I want my num to pass. So yeah, that is all, that's all. So let's see console log new array, and we'll get the desired result. See, we got 22, 46, because if we divide num by 2, 0 should be the remainder. And which of these elements will fulfill this condition? Only even elements will fulfill this condition. So yeah, see, we got 0. So yeah, we got this. So let me show you in terms of normal function. Now let me show you. Let's make a function even get even. Okay, and I could define the function here, function get even. So I am doing this, so if some of you guys didn't get it in the arrow function structure, you will understand like this. We want num here, and what will return is, we'll say, like, okay, I'll destructure it properly. If num %2, sorry, not percentage, it's modulus operator, equals to 0, return true. That's it. And see, again we got the same result. So this is the same thing. This is the same thing as this. Num 2 is equals to 0. See, we got the same result again. So yeah, let's move on to the next example, and you guys will have a better grip over it. So see, here I told you each element of the original array is passed through a function. The function will return either true or false. The element for which the function returns true will be appended to the new array, and the element for which the function returns false will be discarded. It's very clear. That is why I tell you to go read my blog. So here, and I'll give the link to my blog in the description, although it's very clear, it is at rajatgupta.net, but still. So this is example 2. Here I showed how to filter out odd numbers. We'll skip this. We'll get to the next example. Given an array of numbers, filter out all values greater than 6. Okay, let us do this. So we want to filter out all values that are greater than 6. No? So let me show you how to do it. This is the array. We want to filter out all values that are greater than 6. We'll do it using arrow function, and it is simple. If this condition is true, I am giving here a condition, and each of this num will pass through that condition, and whichever will return true will be appended to the new array, and whichever of these elements will return false will be discarded. As simple as that. So I am giving here a condition, and that's it. Number greater than 6 I wanted, and here I got number greater than 6. Let me refresh it once. Okay, see, here we got number greater than 6. So whichever returns true will keep only those elements and discard all other elements. Okay, so yeah, this is done. Let's get to the next example. Given an array of string, return an array of string having vowels. No problem. This is the array of string. So let's do this. What it says is, I think you understand what it says, but let me again tell you what it says. It says that given an array of strings, we are given an array of strings here. As you can see, these are different strings that we are provided with. Return only those words, which have vowels in them. No, vowels means A, E, I, O, U. So we have A here. So yeah, this apple will be returned. We do not have either of these words, either of these letters in GPC in this word. So this won't be returned. This will be discarded. This will be returned, and this will be discarded, and so on. So let's do it using obviously we'll use filters. We are learning filter here. So yes, string array dot. I am doing all these different examples so you guys could understand better, have a better understanding of filter. Okay, string array. So let's call each string a word. So what we want is, first let me do it, then I'll tell you how I did it. No, let car off. Word dot includes card. Okay, so here we got the result. Now this might be a little complex, and I'm already thinking if this is the right thing to give this example here, but since I already gave this example, let me tell you how it is working. Okay, so you guys have to be familiar with arrow functions first, because I am using arrow functions here again because it is much more convenient. Now what I am doing is I am iterating over this vowels array. I am iterating over this vowels array, and how I am doing it? I am doing it using for of. If you don't know for of, you might have to see what it is, but okay, let me try to explain what it is. What for of gives is, what for of does is, in every iteration it gives us an the element, the array element itself, not the index which we get in the actual for loop. No, that doesn't happen. We directly get this element. In each iteration we'll get the element of the array. Okay, so car, in first iteration car is A, in second iteration car is E, in third iteration car is I, and so on. Okay, now I am iterating over, initially I am iterating over this array. Okay, in first iteration I am getting apple. Okay, then I am iterating over this array, this whole thing. Then in second iteration I am getting this GPC, then I am iterating over this whole array. This is how it is working. So now what I am doing is, since here in word, in first iteration I have apple, I am checking if this apple includes this character. Okay, this includes is a built-in method in JavaScript which checks if that particular thing is present in that string or not. So it is checking if this character, in first iteration of this for loop, it is checking that if A is present in apple, since it does, it returns true, and as soon as it returns true, this apple is appended in the new array. Okay, imagine an empty new array in which this apple is appended. Then in case of GPC, we got here GPC. Now we'll check GPC with A. Okay, no, nothing will be returned, so we'll check GPC with A. So this doesn't have this, so we'll return false. But one thing to note here is, if I do this, let's say EE, it is not being appended here. Yes, so we cannot use it here because this is the corner case that I didn't consider. Only A is being returned, no, otherwise this is false. And that, because what happens is, if GPC doesn't contain A, it will discard it, it won't check any further. This is what is happening here. If this banana doesn't contain, it may contain EIO, but this algorithm is not checking for EIOU, it is discarding it here itself after checking for A. So what we'll do is, we'll do if word dot includes car, we'll do this, return true, and if it does not has car, do nothing, and after this for loops complete, only then return false, so that all of these vowels will be checked for. So yeah, now it's working properly. We got EE also here. Now it is working properly. So yeah, what I was saying is, in case of GPC, We'll check again for A, E, I, O, U. It does not contain any of these, so it won't work. In case of banana, first we'll check for B. In case of banana, first we'll check for A, this A, and we find it, so it will return true, so banana is included, and so on. And in case of this EE, first we'll check for A, it doesn't find here, then we'll check for E, and yes, it returns true. If, like in this case of DCRM, if we do not find any of these, by default true, false will be returned, and that element won't be appended to our new array. Okay, so yes, this question is done. This might be a little bit tricky, so I recommend you do it once more. Now the battery of my laptop is low, so 1 second. Okay, now let's get to the next question. Okay, again this might be little bit tricky, but no worries. What it says is, given the below array, we are being provided with this array, and let me tell you prior to solving this question that we are gonna use map as well as filter in this question. And yes, both of these methods in a single statement, okay. So yeah, this is the array that we are being provided with. It contains an 1 2 3 4 5 objects as elements, and each object has these keys, 3 keys: first name, last name, and age, and their corresponding values. So what we have to do is, can you filter out the first name of the persons having an age of more than 46? Okay, so let me remove all this. Okay, so it is saying that we are provided with this array details, and it is saying that what we want this. We want to filter out only the first name. We want only first names, okay, but not all the first names of only those persons who has age greater than 46. That is, my return array should look like this. 46 is who's greater than 46. Barak is greater than 46. And Abdul is greater than 46. So yeah, this is what should be returned. Okay, so how to do it? Let's try to do it. It's easy. You guys just observe carefully. It's easy. Const new array is equals to details. First, what we'll do? First, we'll filter out. This is an array of objects, and from this array of objects we'll filter out only those objects which has age greater than 46. Okay, how to do it? Using filter, of course. And let's call each of these object a person, and let's say person. What we want to be returned? We want if person dot age is greater than 46, then only return true. So see, if person, this is the person, so and the person object, so how to access its age? Using person dot age we can access the age. Okay, so if person dot age, so it will check in first iteration, it will check here, is person dot age greater than 46? No, so this will be discarded. Here it will check, is person dot age greater than 46? Yes, so it will be appended, and so on. So yeah, this is the condition, and see the result here, what we got. So yes, we got two objects. Let me clear this and refresh it once. See, we get two objects here. One is obviously Barak, okay, and we'll get the whole object. No, we'll get the whole object, because filter, remember, filter does not change anything, it just filters out the desired elements out of the original array. Okay, filter does not change anything, it just filters out the desired elements out of the original array. So yeah, in the second, okay, here again we'll get the age greater than 46, so this object will also be returned. Now since we have our desired what, since we have our desired array being returned, what we want is, we want only first name out of these array. So what we are actually saying is, we want to modify this, the elements of these array, no, because the elements of these array contains an object. Okay, this is the first object, this is the second object, and we want to modify it and get only this instead of object, we want this string and this string. So how to modify elements of the array? Using map. So let's use map here, and yes, we can do this. We can use map, filter in a chain, okay, in a chaining kind of way, no, one after the other. So we are getting this here. Let's call each of these persons. Let's not person here, so because you guys might be confused, then let me call it men. Okay, so let me call it men's, and what we want, so in men we are having only two objects. In man array we are having only two objects, one is this and second is this. Okay, so if we do man dot first name, what we get, we'll get Barak, and in the second iteration we'll get Abdul. So yes, we'll do that. If I input men, which is an object, what we want as output, I want men dot first name as output. That's it, and here is our desired result, Barak and Abdul. So I hope you guys understood this. Let me go. Yes, there is no next example. So yeah, we are done here. If you like this video, smash that subscribe button and give a thumbs up, because this is a new channel. I want YouTube algorithm to give me some push. So yeah, do that, subscribe. And okay guys, bye. We'll meet tomorrow with reduce. Okay, bye.